this video I'm going to be talking about some more advanced. I'm recording all these videos off the top of my head, like I don't have it structured. Okay, so I'm going, I'm just moving upward the way from when I started market structure, like what I would say to myself if I was starting. So at this point, we know about market structure candlesticks, we know about what to do when the market breaks structure, and I'm going to be going into more advanced stuff. And whatever I don't say in these videos, I'm going to say in subsequent videos. Do well to like join the WhatsApp channel, okay? Because I'm going to do a YouTube live for 2 weeks. That's a promise, unless I have technical issues. The people in the WhatsApp community, I'm going to share a Zoom link, so like I'll be doing most of the stuff on Zoom, and at some point it's going to get exclusive. But I believe everything I've taught you is enough. It's enough for you to understand what the Forex market is all about, okay? And all you just need to do is apply. It's not to even, at this point you've studied this stuff. What you need to do now is study yourself, okay? So these videos are not enough because you need to immerse yourself into this thing day in, day night, day in, day night. Like when I started in 2020, I and a friend, the only time we're not studying was when we were sleeping. So we're always on the Forex chart. He had done baby pips before me. Started studying baby pips before me. So when I now came, because I was at home, and then I came back to join him in school. We're still in school. It was during the COVID pandemic. I didn't want to be in the house because I'm not used to just being in one place, not learning, not doing anything. So I had to come back to school, and it was not easy, but that was what we were. That's what we had to do, and that was the right time for us to do this thing. It's so sad that a lot of people didn't utilize that period to actually grow. So we're always in the classroom because that was where we had light, study, sleep, study, sleep, study, sleep. We are awake throughout the night, and that was the time of our life where we could actually afford to do that because we're young. I mean, I'm still young, but I'm just saying all of this so you guys know it's actually not an easy road. It's because you're going to be investing your time, which is your most precious commodity, your time and your energy. You're going to be spending these things trying to study the market, and you might do this for years. You might do this for 4 years and see no single dime. But the Forex market is easier than before because unlike before where capital was an issue, you don't have prop firms to like give you the funds, to trade for less money. I'm going to be talking about something more advanced, and I'm going to be talking about liquidity. All right. Now I'm going to hop on to Google. What is liquidity in the market? All right. So it says liquidity refers to the ease with which an asset can be bought or sold without significantly affecting its price. A highly liquid market has many buyers and sellers, making it easy to find a counterparty for transactions. So I'm going to just take this down because I haven't talked about market sessions, and I'm going to cover that. All right, these are things that affect how volatile or how liquid a commodity is. So an illiquid market, which is a less liquid market, has few participants, and finding someone to trade with can be difficult, potentially causing price fluctuations. So a normal market on a normal day, in Nigeria we have market days. I don't know about those of you outside the country, but in Nigeria we have market days. So on market days it's the busiest, right? So just because they say today is the market day, everybody knows that day is the market day. So almost everybody in the town comes to the market on that day, right? So it makes the market very, very busy on those days. And then at those points, it's very easy to find someone to buy from. Price can easily spike up, okay? Because at that point, there's more demand. Like there's so many people, if you're not going to buy, there's always going to be someone else who's going to buy, right? So that market is it's considered to be very, very liquid, right? But in an illiquid market, let's say you go to the markets on a day that's not a market day, there are going to be fewer participants there. So as a result, the sellers would want to hold on to whatever buyer they see. So they'll sell their stuff for whatever price, right? But during market days, I mean, they can have some insistence on the price they want to sell their goods for. So we have market sessions in the market, and just because these currencies we trade, like the US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yen, these are currencies of major countries, that really, really affect the market. So the time in which the major banks in these countries are going to open is going to be the time with the most activity in these countries. And because the currency is not only traded by them, it's traded by almost every other person across the world. It's going to be a very, very, very busy time across the world on the charts. All right. So those market sessions are times where those particular currencies are going to be moving drastically. Like there'll be so much activity. Okay, so you can stay up trading the US dollar all night, especially Euro USD for instance, all night, and that by that time the market is already closed. Their banks are closed. If not for the internet, there wouldn't even be any participants in the market. But because of the internet, like you can be wherever you are and you can be trading at night. Because of that, you can still see some activity in the market. That's market session. So we have like different market sessions. We have the New York session, we have the London session. This is for absolute beginners, but you find all of this on Baby Pips. Okay. We have the London, we have the New York, we have the Sydney session, we have the Asia session. So just do well to study these things. But know that these market sessions are when these currencies of these countries that have these currencies are going to be moving the most. Alright. And then sometimes some market sessions overlap. So let's say a market session starts from 1 a.m. for instance. I'm just like let's say from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. 12 p.m. Right. And then another market, so the participants in that market they're going to be more, and then there's going to be much more activity in that market. But now there's also another market session that starts from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you bring those two market sessions together, you're going to see that there's an overlap. There's a point from 10 a.m. to 12 where the two markets are in session, right? So what that happens is there is an overly increased number of participants in the market, all right, at that time, because these market participants are from both sessions and they are both present in the market. So it's the same thing with in chemistry. The more the number of atoms compared to the space, the more force they're going to exert on the walls of the container. So when you take out most of the atom, they don't exert as much force. Now, if you take you get a bottle of, let me use something we're all familiar with. We Nigerians, well, normally even those outside the country, should know this. After on an accreton, I mean, they made this stuff, so so something like Shaw, for instance, Shaw for men, for instance, when it's new and it's full, and you press the nozzle, it comes out with much more force because it's still full, right? But when you use it for a while and you press it, it comes out with lesser force, lesser pressure, because in this first instance when it was full, there was much more atoms of the constituents, like whatever it's made up of inside. So it's going to be more active. So that I'm just trying to look for a good analogy to explain volatility and how market sessions influence how volatile a pair is, because that's what liquidity is all about. Okay, so sometimes you stay on a chart like Euro USD throughout the night, 6 hours, and it does not move so much, and then you wake up during London session and boom, you see price just cover a distance it had not covered for the past 6 hours, covers it in like 5 minutes. So this is all called liquidity and market volatility. All right, so liquidity concepts now is basically how the market does what it does, right? Because if people really spend funds in the market, they don't want to run at loss. So if they don't look for a very liquid market, they will enter their trades, and because they're not much market, because they are trading big money. So let's say you're in a room of 20 people and each person takes a trade of 1 unit, and then you now have one single man that is what so there are 20 people in the room, right? But one of those people has the trading power of 100 people. So if all of you in that room trades your one unit each, and it trades 50 units, is already going to pull the market his way, like it's going to have the upper hand, right? But since in the market you buy from someone who is selling and you sell to someone who is buying, he does not have enough market participants to buy from him. Okay, so there are going to be discrepancies in price fluctuations. It's not going to balance out, okay, and it's going to run at loss. In the market, it's going to run at loss. The guy from Photon Trading talks about this. I think I'll just add a link to his channel he explains this perfectly because he has like some animations that explain stuff. So what he has to do is wait for a time when there's so much, market participants to buy these orders from him, right? And then what he's also going to do, since he wants to buy, he's going to make sure that everybody there is selling, right? So he's going to trick you guys into thinking it's best to sell, and then when you sell, you know he's not going to buy from you. That's just the best way I can explain this. All right, so that way now there's very little loss on his part. I mean, these people don't want to lose, because even if they lose 1% of the money they have, it's actually big. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So that's where liquidity comes in. And please go check out Matt's video on photon trading. I'm going to leave a link. Okay, and as a quick reminder, subscribe and turn on your notification bell for subsequent videos. If not, you're going to miss, because I don't know, the algorithm might not be so generous. Hopefully it is. Hopefully I do the right things, and hopefully you guys engage, because that's the only way. If you don't engage with this video, you're not going to see it again. So just like, subscribe, leave a comment, drop a question. And for real, if you drop a question that I think like just joggles my memory, and I remember something I'm supposed to talk about, I'm going to talk about it during the live, or maybe in the next video. Okay, or maybe even when I'm inviting people on the Zoom meeting or whatever, I would I might even get on a video call with you, okay, if you have the means to. Okay, so I just want to teach this stuff, right? So that's that. But do where to subscribe, so you would be present for the live, and then you can actually ask your questions and I'll answer them straight up. All right. So 15 minutes, I think I'm gonna end here, and I'll talk about liquidity on the next video. All right guys, see you.